All right, all right. Quarterback Derrick Carr has officially retired from the NFL. Let's break it down and talk about what it means for the Saints and ultimately congratulate Derrick Carr on a successful 11-year career. Before we jump into it, hope you all are having a fantastic, fantabulous, awesome freaking day. My name is Garrett Shoemake and this is the Shoemake Take. Hope you all are doing well. Jumping right into it here. The first thing that I thought about, my immediate reaction to when Derrick Carr announced that he was retiring from the NFL was, oh my god, how time flies is insanity. The fact that like Derek Carr was drafted in 2014 and it's been 11 years since then. It is 2025. It has been 11 years since Derek Carr has been drafted. Mind you, 11 years ago, 2014, I was in 7th grade. I was going into 7th grade. And right now I am 1 year outside of graduating from college. Holy crap. That is like the fact that like it made me immediately think about how fast time flies in the NFL. It's just wow. We are in a new generation of NFL football and it really hasn't hit me until this moment. And of course, like I've had thoughts about it in the past, but seeing Derek Carr and his retirement, it made me really reflect on it a little bit more than in the past, where now I'm so much invested into the game now that everything means more to me. It hits harder for me now. And so seeing Derek Carr, a guy who was drafted in 2014, retire, it's like Jesus Christ. Like it's been so long ago. Like in reality, the 11 years is it's a decent amount of time, but in terms of the grand scheme of the world, 11 years isn't that long of time. But when you look back and think about where you were 11 years ago, someone like me, like I said, I was going into 7th grade and I'm now 1 year removed from graduating from college. That's just insanity. That's just straight up insanity to me. And it feels like so long ago, back in 2016, when Derek Carr was in his 3rd year, the Raiders went 12-4. They were lighting the world on fire. They looked really good. And it looked like the Raiders had finally figured it out. They were going back to the glory days of the early 2000s and then going back into the really glory days. We're going to talk about the best years of the Raiders back in the 70s, early 80s, in that period, those periods. And he fractured his fibula, I think week 16 of the 2016 season, broke his leg, and then he was out for the rest of the year, of course. They had to start Connor Cook, if you remember that name, in their playoff game. I think it was against the Miami Dolphins. And after that, Derek Carr was never the same. He was never like the borderline elite quarterback that he was. He was still very solid. He was still very good, but he never really caught back up to that 2016 form. And that, reminds me a lot of my quarterback, Marcus Mariota. I'm a Titans fan, if you guys didn't know. And in that same year, I think in the same week, they both fractured their fibulas. And then going back, they were never the same quarterbacks after it. And while Derek Carr definitely has fared a lot better than Marcus in that regard, it all feels like a blur. It all just feels like a big blur where it was 2016, Derek Carr was lighting up the league, and then a couple years later, they trade away Khalil Mack to the Bears, they trade away Amari Cooper to the Cowboys, and all of the star players that were the foundation of the Raiders outside of Derek Carr were gone. They were all sent away somewhere else, whether it was being traded or being cut. And Derek Carr literally had to go through probably 2 or 3 full-scale rebuilds of the Raiders in his time there. And then at the end, things got ugly. And then before you know it, he's with the New Orleans Saints. And then after a year or two, I can't remember if he spent 1 or 2 years in New Orleans. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But after that, he retired, and now he is done. And the thing that influenced this retirement was his arm injury. It was a injury to his right shoulder, his throwing shoulder, and it was called a labral tear here according to my script, and it had significant degenerative changes to his rotator cuff, and that's sad. That's really sad, because obviously, like, your arm having a bad rotator cuff, your rotator cuff is like right here, I'm pretty sure. Like, that's your shoulder. And so when that's broke, I mean, that's the entire part of the entire foundation of your arm and your entire arm movement, right? It all starts with your shoulder. So seeing that happen and get to a point where it's not going to be the same again. That's very sad because it reminds me of when Drew Brees retired, when he talked about how he had to start throwing with his left arm because he physically could not do anything throwing the football with his right arm. His body wouldn't let him. And that's just sad. It's just really sad to me. But at the same time, the fact that that he decided that he wanted to retire and hang it up, it shows a lot about who he is, because he had the awareness to recognize that, hey, I may not be 100% again. Let me just retire now and have my arm the best chance to heal and get back to some type of normalcy. And the thing is, the big takeaway is that he made the decision that I think was the best for himself. And I respect that a lot and I support it. And Derek Carr also has family. He's got a wife and kids. I think he has 2 kids, 2 or 3 maybe. And now he's going to get to go home with generational wealth for the rest of his life and the rest of his family's lives. And he gets to be a dad. He gets to be a parent. He finally gets to be around his family a lot more. And they get to enjoy that together. And I think that's really cool. I think it's a silver lining where, sure, he may be retiring from football earlier than he wanted to. He's not going out 100% on his own terms, but he's got a whole life ahead of him with his family and with all the money that he's earned throughout his career. I mean, he's going to be living life very well, I'm pretty sure. And I think he's going to be very, very happy to be living in this next chapter of his life. And couldn't be more excited for him and to see what he's going to do now. I'm excited. I think he still loves the game. He could obviously come back to football, and I think we will. I mean, his older brother, David Carr, ended up becoming an analyst for the NFL for a long number of years. I think he still is to this day, and I think Derek Carr could be that. If he wants to stay around football, I think it'd be a great TV personality. So, Derek Carr for working for ESPN or working for NFL Network, here we go. But anyways, going on to that, I want to just congratulate Derek Carr for such a successful career. People like to trash on Derek Carr, say that he's mid, but look, he was drafted in the 2nd round, 36th overall by the Raiders. And in that time from then to now, he's thrown for over 41,000 yards, 257 touchdowns, and with the Raiders, owns all these franchise records: 63 wins as a starter, most by a quarterback; 33 game-winning drives, most by a Raiders quarterback; holds the franchise record for passing yards, passing touchdowns, completions, and attempts; and also has earned 4 Pro Bowls as a Raider, all making up that successful 11-year career. And to go from a 2nd-round flyer to that franchise quarterback to 11-year NFL veteran, and going through everything that he went through. The Raiders, he was the one true constant with the Las Vegas/Oakland Raiders. Everything around him was constantly crumbling, screaming dysfunction, and through all of it, he persevered and continued to give the Raiders stability at the quarterback position that they had not had since Rich Gannon. And so, for Derek Carr, congratulations. Congratulations on a successful NFL career. He may not be remembered for winning a Super Bowl. He may not be remembered as a Hall of Famer or an all-time great. But what I'm going to remember Derek Carr for is someone who worked really hard, someone who was really focused, had a lot of resilience and perseverance. And he's one of those guys where he gave football everything he had. And I think that means a lot. It truly means a lot, and despite everyone talking bad about Derek Carr, and even New Orleans Saints fans after he retired saying, thank God he's out, thank Derek Carr. Thank Derek Carr for playing for your organization, for being there, right, getting to watch him, no matter who you're a fan of what team. Derek Carr deserves to be congratulated for such a great career, and for what he earned so much money for his family. He's got a great family he's going to get to go home to and get to, for that next chapter of his life, he's get to be a part of that. That's going to be so exciting. And for Derek, congratulations on a successful career. Once again, I probably said that like 5 or 6 times here in the past couple minutes, but what a great career. And may you have great future endeavors in your life. I don't know. I'm kind of just babbling at this point. But for the New Orleans Saints, shifting gears here, they now have to go into the year without Derek Carr on their team. And for now, this might be a bold take. Maybe, is it bold? Maybe not really, but something that some people may not be thinking about. I don't know. Here's the take. Saints are going to be finished 4th place in the NFC South. Okay, maybe that's not as hot as I thought about now that I've said it out loud. But until the season comes around and proves me wrong, and they prove me wrong, I have the Saints going 4th place in the NFC South. I mean, you look at Tampa, I expect Tampa to probably win the division again. Atlanta's going to be right there in the mix. The Carolina Panthers are looking to finally take that step forward. But are they? I don't know. But I can say this, I believe they're going to be better than New Orleans Saints. And they already don't have a great roster, the New Orleans Saints, so it's going to be an uphill battle. But it's the quarterback position that's really the big wild card for the Saints, because they got 3 guys in there that are going to be competing for the starting job, and that's Jake Haener, Spencer Rattler, who's going into year 2, and then their 2nd-round pick, who was picked 40th overall, Tyler Shuck out of Louisville. And ultimately, I think Tyler Shuck wins the job just because of the investment that they put into him. You know, Spencer Rattler was a 5th-round pick. Jake Haener was a 6th-round pick, coincidentally also out of Fresno State, which is pretty interesting. But the Saints are in an interesting spot here, because I think they're going to finish 4th in the NFC South because of their roster and because of the quarterback position being objectively the worst in their division. The thing is, they're going to see, they're going to have some growing pains, but with Tyler Shuck, as much as I'm not high on him as a prospect, there is a real opportunity for the Saints to reset here, because now they have their quarterback, presumably, and they start him. He goes out there, has a couple games. Tyler Shuck doesn't need to be great as a rookie, of course, and I don't think he's going to be great, but he just needs to just look the part and not be bad. As long as Tyler Shuck can go in there and just play well, even if at best he's average, I think that's going to be a successful year for the New Orleans Saints, because now they have a young quarterback to build around, theoretically, and then now they can probably take steps to get their cap situation in place as they learn to build around that young quarterback, and they don't have to break the bank paying for quarterbacks anymore for at least a few more years, like I said, if Tyler Shuck hits. So that'll be interesting to see. Kellen Moore is a really good offensive mind. Think about all the teams that he's coached, the Dallas Cowboys, the Chargers, then the Eagles. Every stop he's been at, the offense has been really, really good, and he's really good at adapting to player strengths. You look at what its time was in LA with the Chargers and their pass-heavy offense, and then you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, who just won the Super Bowl, and they had the best rushing offense in the NFL. And so now you're going to have a system in New Orleans with Tyler Shuck, where you're going to see his arm talent showcased a little bit. He's got decent athletic tools. He's not a statue in the pocket. My only concern with Tyler Shuck is just his injury concerns and his age. And along with the injuries, it's made him very skittish in the pocket at times on tape, which I really don't like to see. And not to mention, the Saints roster, again, it's already not great. So it's not a great situation for him to be walking into. There's going to be some growing pains, but as long as they can just look average, as long as Tyler Shuck can look average at best most of the year, I think that would be a success for the New Orleans Saints, because at least they have their quarterback, and now they can take the proper steps to build their roster the right way and go in the right direction finally. But with that being said, that is going to do it for me today. Kind of a shorter video, I'm pretty sure, but either way, it was a discussion I want to talk about. Pretty big news, of course. Kind of late getting to the party, but hey, I mean, I wanted to take a couple days to build the script out. And also, Mother's Day was happened. Happy belated Mother's Day to all your moms. By the way, make sure you say you love them and you appreciate them. But that will do it for me today, guys. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you're new around here, please consider hitting a like and hitting the subscribe button. It would help me a whole lot. And we're trying to get to 100 subscribers before the NFL season starts. So help your guy out in making that happen. And also let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, whether you're a Raiders fan or a Saints fan or an NFL fan in general. Let me know your thoughts about Derrick Carr retiring and what it means for the New Orleans Saints. I want to hear all your thoughts down there. And lastly, make sure you follow me on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and share my videos on social media, getting everybody locked in and locked on to the Shoemake Take, coming out with great content for you guys every single week. The NFL schedule, the schedule drops tomorrow by the time you guys are seeing this. So keep an eye out, because I'm going to have a video giving my immediate reactions to the new schedule being released. So stay tuned for that. But until then, as always, I will see you all next time.